I want to share something with you. Pretty much my whole life, I've been extremely insecure. And I'm speaking this from a place of like just finally feeling like I'm coming into the person, the man that God has created me to be. But my whole life, as far back as I can remember, felt like I was putting on an act or trying to be somebody else. I really never had an identity. Like, I never just was who I was, who God created me to be. I was always trying to be somebody else. And that insecurity led to me trying to just find value in so many different things. And when I got old enough, usually what that looked like was me looking for a relationship or girls or even jobs or career or school, grades. Like, it looked like a lot of different things in a lot of different stages of my life. And it wasn't until, honestly, me losing everything, realizing none of that stuff had true value to begin with, and then finding my identity in who Jesus says I am. Not in my mistakes, not in my relationships, not in my social media, not in the money I'm making, not in any of that stuff. It took me losing everything for me to, one, to appreciate what I had, but then to also look to Jesus and say, who do you say I am? Because I've been trying to put on a show. I've been leaning so heavily on the way I dress, the way I talk, the way I look, the attention I'm getting. I'm basing all my value on that stuff. I never once came to you, my Father, and said, who do you say I am? Because I know what I say about myself, and I know kind of what other people say about me, but I want to know what you say about me. And that was a whole season of my life, honestly, last year, where I had to be humbled. I had to realize how insecure I really was my whole life. I got to the point where I said, Jesus, will you show me my value? And what he showed me first is that my value was his life on the cross. And that's the most important, and that's the basic thing. He gave his life for me on the cross, so that is the number one thing that showed me my value. Number two, I looked in his word and saw what his word said about me. Like things that say, I'm created in his image, that he knit me together in my mother's womb, that he had a plan for me, and he has more thoughts about me than the number of sand in the ocean. Like, these things are what he says about me. I started to find true value and true identity. And I no longer want it to be based on my performance, social media, whatever. None of that stuff matters. It's who he says I am. All the other opinions don't matter. And once I realized that, I started walking different. I started walking as a new man, as a new creation. I used to care so much about what people thought about me that it stopped me from walking as the man that God created me to be, in the purpose and the gifts that he's given me. And I want to encourage you, don't let what other people say about you determine you using the gifts that God gave you. Use them, grow them, step out of your comfort zone, ask God and say, will you show me who I am? Will you show me my value? Will you give me my identity? Because I'm done finding it and searching for it in other people, in relationships, in jobs, and anything like that. Because I know those things never filled me. That's my encouragement to you, because I've been there. So insecure that I thought everybody was paying attention to everything about me. I was literally living in like some sort of fantasy world. and I had to come down, and that was so much pride. What I found out about insecurity is it's really just a pride issue. I put myself on a pedestal, so I automatically assumed that everybody cared so much about me. Everybody was paying attention to me like I was some sort of celebrity or something. I had to be humbled. And to be honest, I couldn't humble myself. So truthfully, I think the Lord humbled me. I hit rock bottom. I self-destructed. My pride got the best of me. And so I'm saying, and there's scripture to back it up. It says, humble yourself before the mighty hand of God. So, and this is so that you don't have to be humbled by him. Because I'm telling you, being humbled by him is a lot harder than if we just did it to ourselves. So I'm trying every day, Lord, keep me humble, because that pride wants to kick in. And so I have to check my motives. I have to check my intentions in everything. I have to be honest with myself, because you could lie to other people. But one, you can't really lie to yourself, and you definitely can't lie to God. So it's like, I need to be honest. I need to either keep a journal. I need to have these conversations. This is where like having a real relationship with God and being open and like talking to him like I'm talking to you. This is where that type of relationship is so important, because then you can say, Lord, I'm feeling this type of way today. Like I used to be so insecure and cared so much about what people thought about me. And I thank the Lord that he changed that, because I don't think that we can walk in the purpose that he's called us to with that sort of insecurity and really that pride. Because when we're the king and we sit on the throne of our own life, we're trying to steer the ship, but he's the one that wants to steer it. He's the one that has the perfect plan, the perfect path. But so often we think we have it figured out. I'm done with that. Like, my life is crazy. My story is different. Like, it's unorthodox, but I'm not ashamed of it, and I'm not afraid to share it anymore. It's different. Don't be afraid of being different. Be who God created you to be. We don't need a bunch of the same people. Like, we don't need a bunch of cookie cutter people. Like, God literally made each one of us unique with unique gifts. So use those gifts. Be who God created you to be. I'm saying be the person, the individual, the human that God created you to be, created in his image. Like, this is stuff between you and God. When you go deep and say, Lord, I want you to build me from the ground up. Remove everything that's not of you. Remove any dead branches. Lord, prune me even though it hurts, even though it's painful. Refine me so that I could be who you want me to be, who you created me to be. So that's my encouragement.